All right, so if you're here, you're just like me. You've always wondered what Pokemon gyms IRL would look like. This is just a generic video of a Pokemon Gold walkthrough I found. So give this creator a shout out and a like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. Probably give him a subscription just for this. But I didn't have any Pokemon gameplay, so I just found like a gold and silver walkthrough. So I'm just gonna use that as background. But Pokemon gyms IRL. What would they look like? How would the pay structure be? Would it be more lucrative to be a trainer or to be a gym leader? Let's look into it. So, first things first, let's answer the first question is if there was a Pokemon League, what would it be called? Like, is there only one Pokemon League? Are there multiple Pokemon Leagues? Like, what would happen there? Me personally, I think there would obviously be multiple Pokemon leagues. There would be different titles like the Pokemon Federation, the National Pokemon Association, blah, 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 blah. I think the most popular one would be, though, the National Pokemon League. That would be the one that everyone's trying to join, everyone's trying to get in on, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to look at it from a couple different viewpoints. Number one, if you wanted to be a Pokemon trainer, versus number two if you wanted to be more of like the gym leader side. So first things first, we've got to look at where the gyms would be located. So each country would probably have their own version of this and then the third. But in the US, I think it would be these 16 cities. And then in no particular order, but there's a couple that I feel like would want the spots that I put them in simply because they would want those spots. So the first city, I mean, realistically, let's think about it, right? So Pokemon are real, right? We discover Pokemon. All of a sudden, gym leaders and gym trainers and things like that start popping up. What cities would want to have Pokemon gyms? There could only be 16. And I picked 16 because this is why I actually am looking at a gold walkthrough because I feel like 8 just wouldn't be enough. I mean, if you think of major sports teams, they usually have around 30 plus teams. So 8 wouldn't be enough, but I don't think 30 gyms is I think that's just doing way too much. I think it would be more like 16 gyms. But which city in America do you think would want to the first gym? So if you look at it like statistically, right? Where would the biggest drop off between gym badges happen? Right? Between like 1 and 2, between like 7 and 8, between 15 and 16. I'll give you all a second to think about it. Think about it. Think about it. I think the biggest drop off would happen between people who don't have a badge and acquiring that first badge. So that's where the most amount of people are going to drop off, like percentage wise, and then just full on numbers. That's where the most amount of people are going to drop off. So, what city in America is going to want all of the people who want to become Pokemon trainers, right? Who want to go through the gauntlet of all the gyms? What city would want the people that win, the people that lose, right? The people that lose, they can celebrate, they can, party their tears away. The people that win, they can celebrate the fact that they won. What city in America would want that? I'll give y'all a guess. Just a couple seconds, couple seconds, couple seconds. Las Vegas. Think about it. Vegas would want that number one spot because there would be like millions of people going to Vegas to challenge the first gym. Millions of people. That's free tourism. On top of the already a huge amount of tourism they already get, Vegas would easily be number one. Easily be number one. Some states will have two. So like California gets two, Texas gets two, New York gets two cities as well. So Vegas is number one. Two would be LA, three Seattle, four Houston, five Detroit, six Brooklyn, seven Philly, and then eight would be New Orleans. Those would be the first eight gyms. Again, the rest are in no particular order, but I feel like Vegas, they would highly, highly covet that number one gym spot just because they would already know. Like when you think about it, it makes sense. Like, oh yeah, A lot of people would try, most would fail, and then a good number would succeed, but the biggest drop off would be between 0 and 1, that first attempt. Gyms 9 through 16 would then be Chicago, Miami, Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, San Francisco. New York City would probably want number 16 because think about it, you just beat the 16th gym. You can now challenge the Elite Four. Like, doing that in New York would be kind of dope, right? But the only reason they're at 15 is because DC gets 16. I just don't feel like the Secret Service, CIA, FBI would want like millions of people traveling to their city for a gym badge if that's also where the president resides. You know what I mean? Like I just don't think they would want that. And so I feel like DC would kind of just edge out New York just because of that one fact. Otherwise, New York would easily be number 16, but sadly, DC gets that 16th slot. So, okay, now let's talk about it. We're going to look at it from two different perspectives. You're going to be a Pokemon trainer, you're going to challenge all the gyms, and then you're going to be on the gym side. So, let's look at the gym structure first of all. So, gym structure, just like in the Pokemon games, when you challenge a gym, you have to fight a couple different trainers, right? So the gym structure would be you go and you challenge gym trainer 1. So for the sake of this video, if I'm talking about a Pokemon trainer, I'm talking about the individual, so you, if that's the one route you would go, challenging the gyms, and the gym trainers are the ones that you fight in order to get to the gym leader. Obviously, the gym leader being the gym leader. So you would fight gym trainer 1, and it's a 1v1, so one Pokemon each. Then you would fight Gym Trainer 2, which it would be a 2v2, two Pokemon each. Gym Trainer 3 would be a 3v3, and then Gym Trainer 4 would be a 4v4. The reason being is because this is to trim the fat a little bit, right? There has to be multiple gym leaders, especially at the lower gyms, because there's no way one person can just fight like millions of people, right? That's just statistically impossible. Or it would take so much time, like by the time you fought the gym leader you'd be like in a 3-year queue or something insane. Maybe like the first gym would have maybe like 1,000 gym leaders versus like the 16th gym might have like 15 or 20, just depending on how many people are actually getting through. But realistically speaking, yeah, those you'd have to have gym trainers to kind of trim the fat, cull the herd a little bit, if you will. And then the way the gym battles themselves against the gym leaders are set up is gyms 1 through 4. So the first half of the lower half gyms, they'll fight you with 3 Pokemon. So it's your 6 versus their 3. So essentially, as long as 2 of your Pokemon can beat one of their Pokemon, you should be fine. Gyms 5 through 8, it gets a little bit harder, where they can now fight you with 4 Pokemon. They still have to announce which 4 Pokemon they're going to fight you with, but they only get 4 Pokemon. Gyms 9 through 12, so that first half of the upper gyms, they get 5 Pokemon. So almost a full roster for them, but you still have that advantage, right? You still have that advantage. And then gyms 13 through 16, so the second half of the upper ranked gyms, it's a full on 6v6. Now, you obviously don't have to challenge them with 6, but why would you not? Because these are gym leaders. They're probably gonna, they're gonna rock your shit, realistically, right? So, 6v6. Then after that, you could fight the Elite Four, Elite members 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then you fight the champion. Now, in the games, gym leaders are type locked. I feel like in real life, making them type locked wouldn't really make sense. It would be really hard to have like a gym leader as well as a gym trainer with like just 6 Pokemon of the same typing. I think it would be just more open, especially since there's multiple gym leaders. It's not that you would be able to request which gym leader, but you would kind of get like an overview of all the gym leaders that you could possibly fight, what their Pokemon strengths, weaknesses, all that kind of thing. And then from there, you could kind of build your team accordingly. Because if you got to think, right, there is no EXP share. You'd have to train each of your Pokemon individually. I feel like if Pokemon were to be discovered or maybe like artificially created AI, whatever, who knows? Like it would just change everything. Especially this, but like it would just change everything. So that's it for the trainer side. You would then fight the Elite Four, then you'd fight the champion. Now, if you did beat the champion, you would not become the champion. Also, the Elite Four, there's only one member each. There's only one Elite Four member, one, two, three, four, and there's only one champion. But if you did beat the champion, you would just have defeated the Pokemon League. You'd go in the Hall of Fame. It would show you all of your battles from start to finish, from that first gym trainer battle one and your Totodile, and then by the time you beat the champion, your Feraligatr and whatever else. So then we'll talk about how do you actually sign up. So let's say you want to become a Pokemon trainer, right? Like it's been your dream, Pokemon are now real, you get to do it in real life. So you sign up to the National Pokemon League, right? The NPL. So of course they would charge a fee because why would they not charge a fee? There'd be like a whole app, so you just go, you pay the fee, you get a trainer ID, all that good stuff. You get the trainer ID. Then you could pay for a premium subscription, which would be $20 a month, or you could pay for an elite subscription, which would be $50 a month. Or maybe those numbers would change. I mean, they would be arbitrary. Maybe it's like 50 and 100, or maybe it'd be like 30, 60, whatever. But there would be definitely two different types of subscription. If you just want to do like the one-time fee, you could, and you can go through the whole league like that. That's totally fine. But with the subscriptions, there would obviously be perks like travel perks, hotel perks, because obviously each gym is going to have like hotel accommodations and like travel accommodations neighboring it, just so that, it's all kind of one conglomerate making all this money. Because let's be real, that's what they do now with certain things, right? So like it would make sense that they would just do it in a Pokemon world. As for the Pokemon app, they would have an app. From there, it could be just like any sports app. You could watch like, Red Zone, ninth inning kind of thing. So you could be like filter it to find, you know, trainers fighting gym leaders where they each have one Pokemon left. Trainers fighting gym leaders where the gym leader is on their last Pokemon, but the gym trainer has, two or three Pokemon. Trainers fighting gym leaders where the gym leader has more than one Pokemon left, but the trainer's on their last Pokemon, right? You could just sit there. It's basically like YouTube slash like Instagram. You could just sit there, you like slash Twitch, right? You could sit there, there's a chat. Yo, this guy's been popping off, all that kind of stuff. I feel like that'd be mad cool, mad dope. Is this an ad? Oh, okay, let me skip this. All right. So that would be the sign up. So you sign up, that's how you go about it. Now, if you wanted to become a gym trainer slash leader, so first things first, you would have to get evaluated, right? So you would go to a national evaluation center, blah, 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 or National Pokemon League evaluation center. You would get evaluated. And then in that evaluation, they would tell you where, like which gyms you can be a gym trainer for. So let's say you have, let's just take, gold and silver or even OG Pokemon, right? So let's say you have a Charizard, a Blastoise, and a Venusaur, right? And then three other Pokemon, let's say Raichu, Snorlax, and Alakazam. Okay, boom. So those are your 6 Pokemon. So it would basically be just you would fight a certified evaluator, evaluation trainer, right? There's evaluators that evaluate performance, and there's evaluation trainers whose job is to fight people like you who want to get into like, the whole gym trainer kind of pipeline, right? So you would fight their 6 with your 6. If you win, your remaining Pokemon fight another team of 6, and you keep going until you lose. The further you go, the higher you're ranked. The higher you're ranked, the better, the higher the gym you can go to with multiple Pokemon, depending on your performance with each Pokemon. So what does that mean? So let's say 3 Pokemon. Let's take your Charizard. They say, okay, your Charizard strength on its own is a level 92. But with your training, your Charizard's overall strength now goes up to a 97. So your Charizard and you are ranked at a 97. But just because you're this good with your Charizard doesn't mean you're this good with all your Pokemon, right? Your Blastoise may be base strength 85, but your training takes it up to an 89. So your Charizard's a 97, your Blastoise is an 89, and then let's say your Ivysaur is an 83. So they'd be like, that's too big of a gap between your best Pokemon and your other two Pokemon for you to be a gym level 3 trainer, where it's a 3v3. There's too big of a gap there. So they would say, here are your options. Since your Charizard is a cut above the rest, your Charizard can be you and your Charizard, but just your Charizard can be a gym 1 trainer, right? So when someone goes to the 16th gym, let's say a gym 1 trainer at gym 16. So if someone were to go to a gym 16 gym, you might be one of the people that they face, but only with your Charizard, right? And of course, every gym has like thousands of trainers, gym trainers, right? Thousands of gym 1 trainers, gym 2 trainers, gym 3 trainers, and gym 4 trainers. But, or sorry, gym tier 1 trainers, I guess we should say. Because again, they got to go through gym trainer 1, gym trainer 2. So gym trainer 1, gym trainer 2, gym trainer 3, gym trainer 4 in order to get to the gym leader. So let's say you're at gym 16. They say, okay, you and your Charizard can go to gym 16 with, as a gym 1 trainer. Then okay, if someone were to go to gym 16 and fight a gym 1 trainer, you're one of the people that they could fight if you're on shift. So let's say you work the morning shift, so you work what, like 9 to 5. If they challenge the gym between 9 and 5, you're just one of the couple hundred people that they could possibly face. But then they would say something like, but given the fact that your Blastoise and Ivysaur are much closer in rank, you can be a gym 2 trainer at gym like 12 or something, right? So you can't use your Charizard, but you can use your Ivysaur and Venusaur. And then so on and so forth. So then, of course, you have the option. Do you want to get your Ivysaur and Venusaur up to the level of your Charizard and then go to Gym 16 still? Or do you want to, that whole thing? So it would kind of, based off of your overall performance, that would dictate where you go and what you do. If you wanted to rise up the ranks, you can then get reevaluated. You can get evaluated once per year so that they expect, a modicum of growth and they feel like anything less than a year is just, there's no point. But after you get evaluated, you can then rise up the ranks to a potential gym leader, to a potential, yeah, like a gym leader or even Elite Four member if you're good enough, that kind of thing. Basically, the way the pipeline would typically work is gym 1, you'd be a gym 1 trainer at the first gym, all the way to a gym run trainer at the 16th gym, and then you would become a gym 2 trainer at the first gym, all the way to a gym 2 trainer at the 16th gym, and so on and so forth until you're a gym 4 trainer at the 16th gym, and then you can make a bid for being a gym leader. After you're a gym leader, you have to be a gym leader. They would probably make some stipulation. You have to be a gym leader for like what, like probably like 2 years or something like that. Then you can make a bid for the Elite Four. Now, to be in the Elite Four, again, there's only actual 4 members of the Elite Four. Because how many people do you think are going to be able to make it through all 16 gyms and fight the Elite Four? Right? In the game, it's easy because it's a game, right? You're supposed to win. Even in the show, they do it in a couple months time. But think about it realistically, right? Like, think about how many responsibilities you have now as an adult. Whether you have kids, whether you don't have kids, whether you're married, right? Whether you're taking care of sick parents, whether you're just on your own, whether you have bills to pay, right? Like, you can't just drop everything and go be a Pokemon trainer. Like, you can maybe if you start like a social media account and then you start making a bunch of money there, maybe you could do that. But like, not everyone's gonna have the capacity to just drop everything and become a Pokemon trainer. The fact that confusion didn't kill there is crazy. I mean, it's not psychic, but it's like he's still got a level advantage. And he attacked while confused. Sorry, I'm actually really getting caught in this stream. This is crazy. Anyway, sorry. Back to the point of the video. Where was I? Gym trainers. Right. So once you become a gym leader, then you can become an Elite Four member. Oh yeah, gym to be a Pokemon trainer, right? Yeah. I mean, you would have to take flights, book hotels. I mean, it would be expensive to do. It would be a lot really time consuming. Responsibilities would get in the way. A lot of people would start and then they would stop, not just because they weren't good enough to keep going, but because maybe life, quote unquote, got in the way. Maybe they met someone, got married. Maybe they started having kids. Maybe they got sick themselves. Some people would unfortunately pass away. Right? A lot of things would happen to make it to where you could no longer continue doing the whole Pokemon trainer thing. Like for a lot of people, like it would work, but for a lot of people, it wouldn't work. So let's say so again, we already did the trainer route. So let's say you went the gym route. After you become a gym leader, you could try to become Elite Four, but if you want to become an Elite Four member, you have to be able to beat one of the Elite Four members. So you get evaluated, they say, hey, we think you're strong enough to beat one of the Elite Four members. You can choose which one you want to challenge. So most people would probably challenge Elite Four member number one because they're the weakest one, just to kind of secure their foot in the door. And then from there, they would try to challenge number two, three, four, and then the champion, right? And the way the Elite Four system would work is that only only elite member number four can challenge the champion. Only elite member number three can challenge number four. Only number two can challenge number three, and only number one can challenge number two. And it would just work that way because why is number one, who's the weakest of the elite four, fighting the champion? Like that doesn't make sense, right? Like that just doesn't make sense. Like no. And then why would you want to be an elite four member? So obviously there would have to be a pay structure, right? Pay incentive. I don't think gym trainers would be paid poorly. The reason I think that they would actually be paid really well is because realistically, like they're fighting 8 hours a day, like every day. Like you got to think, especially if you're in one of the lower gyms, like you're fighting 8 hours a day every day. Like as soon as you're done fighting, your Pokemon are going to a Pokemon Center, they're healing up, and then you're back on the clock. So realistically, in like an hour span, they're expecting you to get through at least 2 to 3 battles. So if you have, let's say, because it would depend on space, right? So if you have, let's say, at any given gym, like 1,000 Gym 1 trainers, and each of them is expected to do, well, no. Per 8 hour shift, let's say, okay, per 8 hour shift, if you have 1,000 Gym 1 trainers, if each one is expected to do about 2 to 3 battles per hour, that's about 2 to 3 battles per hour. That's 2 to 3,000, sorry, battles per hour. Multiply that by 8, that's about 16 to 25K battles per 8 hours. Multiply that by 3, because 24 hours in a day, that's like 75,000 battles that are happening every single day. That's insane, bro. 75,000 battles a day. And granted, you're right, you as an individual, if you're doing 2 to 3 an hour, you're only going to do 16 or like let's say 15 to 25, but that's still 15 to 25 battles every day, 5 days a week. Like they're gonna pay you. They're gonna pay. I personally feel like they would pay you well for that. I don't think because there would be no reason for you to do that if they didn't pay you well for that. Like they wouldn't want that to be like your side hustle because you got to think, right? That's just you battling, but you also have to train your Pokemon, right? They want to give you incentive to train more Pokemon to climb the ladder so that the Pokemon League gets more difficult so that when people overcome it, they feel more accomplished. That creates more buzz, more hype. That's more fans for social media. That's more people who want to become trainers. That's more trainers who maybe no longer want to be trainers and so now they want to become gym trainers, right? Because let's say you because again, like right, let's say you try to be a Pokemon trainer and challenge the gyms, then life got real and you had to settle down. That doesn't mean you have to stop battling. You could just become like a gym trainer. You just have to be good enough to be a gym trainer in the city that you want to settle down. right? I mean, athletes, entertainers, like they do it all the time. Like they'll start off in one city and they'll move to another city. So yeah, there might be a little bit of moving, but that's way more stable than I have to go to this city and then I have to go to this city and then I have to go to this city. It's no, you have a stable job here. You can, build roots here, and then if you get a promotion or if you work hard and you get a promotion, then you can, sure, you have to move, but you make enough money to where it makes sense and there's enough incentive to move. Does that make sense? Like they would have to pay them well because they would want to keep them in the industry. They wouldn't want you to be a Pokemon, like a gym trainer, and then all of a sudden you're like, actually, I'm going to be a doctor or something. Like, nah, they wouldn't want you to do that. Like, they would want you to stay in that industry. They wouldn't want you to go be a Pokemon gym trainer and then you decide to go be an actor, you go be a teacher or something. Like, no, they would want you to stay in the industry. What's the best way to make people stay at a job? Pay them well enough to stay at said job. So I think starting salary would be insanely high. I don't think it would be six figures off rip, but if you were a gym trainer one, even at the first gym, you'd be making anywhere you'd probably be making like 70 to like 85K, maybe 90 plus with like incentives, right? But somewhere around there to where it's good enough pay to where like you can be, if you're young and you're doing it, you're like, oh, I'm doing this forever, bro, I'm making hella money. And even if you're a little bit older and you're doing it, you're still like, yo, this is actually about as much money as I would be making elsewhere, and I get to still battle because, again, right, it sounds like work and it is, but if you enjoy just battling, then you get to battle every single day. And what do they say? When you actually love your job, you don't actually work a day in your life. Like, that's what they want. They want the people who love to battle for them. That's what the Federation would want. So they're going to pay their people really well. And they're going to make enough money through endorsements and all this other stuff to where they can just pay everyone whatever the fuck they want. And even if even if it's like too much, they'll probably just what they would probably end up doing is paying the people in the earlier gyms a little bit less, not super less, but like a little bit less. They might drop it from like 70 to like 65, maybe 60K, which is honestly 60K is still like good money. Like it's not like amazing money, but like that's still a like starting salary 60K, bro. Like go find a job. Go find a job with no degree where starting salary is 60K, bro. Go find one right now. I'm telling you, it does not exist. That shit does not exist. So starting salary with no like 60K, bro, that's money right there. That's actually good money. And then of course, there's way more room to grow. So what they would probably do is they would have a huge amount of gym trainers in the first few gyms, and then they would just have less gym trainers in the latter gyms, right? Like gym 16's obviously not going to get as much traction as gym 1, even after the system's been around for like a couple of years. Like gym 1 would probably average maybe like 10,000 battles a day. Maybe that might fluctuate to like 8,000, 6,000, 5,000 after a few years. But even after a few years, like at least 5,000 versus Gym 16 after a few years might still only get like 1,000 battles a day. Like it's still going to be hardcore intensive battles like that. Those are the ones they're going to put on TV. They're going to do like major streams for, this is the next person challenging the Gym 16 gym leader with a whoop. All right, they're going to make huge spectacles of it. But realistically, those trainers aren't going to be battling as much, right? Like that's just how it's going to go. Like they're just not going to be battling as much. So you can have fewer of them and then still pay them well enough to where they still want to keep the job, but it's a lot more laid back and chill. And the reason why you'd want to do that is because once you get to the Elite Four, like obviously gym leaders would get paid more than all of the gym trainers, right? And the first few gym leaders have to battle more, but like the next few gym leaders, like the last few, you're not going to be battling all that much. So most of your time is spent doing whatever you want as long as you're still like battle ready, right? Like you'll see the stats of how many people are in your gym, like how many trainers are in your gym challenging your gym trainers and who's likely to win and all this kind of stuff. You'll see all the stats so you can know, but your job is just to be gym ready, right? Be ready for battle if the battle does arise. And then gym leaders probably work Monday through Saturday. Again, there has to be multiple gym leaders per gym. But the latter gym, so like the first gym would probably have like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 gym leaders versus like gym 16 might have like again like 100, 200, maybe 25, 50, depending on what the numbers would be, right? It would just kind of depend on the numbers. For the Elite Four though, I feel like the Elite Four, like many, I don't feel like as many people would get through it as they think that. I feel like you watching now, you're like, oh, I would definitely get through. I beat the Elite Four. I beat the champion. That's because you've done it for years in a Pokemon game where you're kind of supposed to win. But like, look, just go watch like an actual professional Pokemon Championship League series game thing, right? Like, that's the level that you're going to be fighting in the gyms in the real world. You know what I'm saying? Like, granted, it's not exact with like certain strats and things, but like again, that's like the level that you're gonna have to be fighting at. So even me, I don't think I'd be able to make it through all the way. If I was me personally, what I would do, I'd probably be a gym trainer, make some money, then quit that, be a Pokemon trainer, get through the gyms, or no, actually no. Actually, you know what I would do? I would be a Pokemon trainer, build a following, become like popular and stuff, and then become a gym trainer and just have steady income for the rest of my life. Because realistically, like even in Pokemon, like sometimes the Elite Four members are like in their 80s, 90s. Like and that's the beauty of Pokemon battling, right? You could be like literally in a wheelchair, like on an oxygen mask, and you can still be battling. Like actually though, maybe okay, maybe not the oxygen mask thing, but like, you could be in a wheelchair still battling because it's all brain power. It's all in your mind. Like as long as your mind is sound, eat some turmeric and whatnot, like you're good. You're good to battle. Like you're actually good to battle. And once you've had your Pokemon for long enough, they'll just know what you'd want them to do anyway. So you won't even have to really direct them like that. They'll just know, oh, this is what so and so would have said. So even if you have like trouble talking, like they'll still kind of just know. You know what I mean? Like, when you have that friend where you don't have to say anything, you just kind of look at them and you guys kind of both know. It's that same thing, but with your Pokemon. Like after you think after 20 years of like Ash and Pikachu, you don't think Ash and Pikachu just know what the other one is thinking? Like, come on, bro. They know what they're thinking. So you could literally be old in a wheelchair, can barely walk, barely talk. You're still battling, making like $100,000, $400,000 a year, just chilling. And that's just off of your income. That's not even off of if you're like investing and all this other stuff. Like that's just what you're making, bro. So Elite Four, I would say the first Elite Four member probably would get challenged realistically no more than like five. Like you're probably getting challenged like 5 to 7 times a year. Every year there's probably about 5 to 7 people that beat Gym 16. Maybe not in the first year, but after like things have been going for a while, maybe about 5 to 7 times a year. All right, so about once every other month or so. Like not a lot, but like if you're getting paid like millions of dollars to fight 7 battles a year, like who would not want that? As long as you're like, and again, your only job description is be battle ready and then battle when someone is officially able to challenge you. Like that's it. If you're elite member 2, you're probably getting challenged realistically twice a year because again, someone had to go through all 16 gyms, which let's do the math on that. Hold on. So 16 gyms, and that's 5 battles in each gym, right? 4 gym trainers plus the gym leader. So that's what 16 times 5. That's 50 plus 30. That's like 80 battles. So someone had to get through 80 battles in 16 different cities and beat the Elite Four first member to get to you. Like realistically, I would say no more than like 2 or 3 people a year you're fighting. So the rest of the year, you're chilling, you're doing whatever you want. You can vacation, you can be on a yacht, you can fly places, you can just party, you can relax, you can just chill as long as you're battle ready. Again, that's the thing. You can't get lazy because if they start seeing like, okay, you're getting too lazy, then boom. And then of course, if you're elite member number 2, you have to worry about elite member number 1 trying to challenge you, right? Because they want your spot. Because everyone needs to challenge elite member number 1 in order to get their spot. only the gym leaders can challenge them. That is fair. But, and of course, the gym leader has to be deemed strong enough to be able to challenge them. And of course, those battles are highly televised, right? Highly all over the internet, everything. This popular gym leader from Gym 7 is challenging Elite 4 member number 1 for a spot in the Elite 4. And then if you lose your spot in the Elite 4, unfortunately, you get offered a gym leader spot. And then you can earn your Elite 4 spot, again, the following year. So it's not like you're done forever. But like falling from grace would kind of suck, right? Like that would kind of suck. But once you're elite member number 2, you have a little more cushion. Only elite member number 1 can challenge you, and they can only challenge you once a year. So plus the 2 battles that, from actual trainers who make it through, plus that one battle, you're probably only really fighting like 3 times a year. So it's like what, once every like 4 months? So what, May, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and then December? Something like that? Or is my math wrong? Or January, April, July, and like October or something like that, right? Like you're only fought like a couple of times. After that, you can become elite member number 3. Realistically, you're probably only get challenged like 3 times every 2 years. So you're at this point you're having like 6 to 8 months of just chill. Just you really just have to worry about elite member number 2 challenging you. Maybe 3 trainers every 2 years come at you, and then that's really about it. And then elite member number 4, realistically, you're probably getting challenged like once by a trainer every 2 years, and then obviously once by elite member number 3. And of course, they're making millions per year, and that number is going up, as they go up the elite 4 ladder. And of course, there's incentives, and you're allowed to get, deals and endorsements and things. You can be in movies, you can star in movies, things like that. But like overall, like you're just chilling. You just have to be battle ready. And obviously, the champion, you're probably getting challenged by a trainer once every 3.5 years. I mean, how many trainers are getting through all 16 gyms, all Elite Four members, and then getting to you, right? Not a lot. You really only have to worry about, really, you're fighting Elite member number 4 more than you're fighting trainers at that point. Because there's once every year that they're pretty much guaranteed to challenge you. And then, other than that, like, how many trainers are going to get through it? Not a whole lot. And so, yeah, I feel like that's what Pokemon gyms would look like in real life. That would be kind of like the structure. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if I'm on the nose, if I'm off. Again, I think those would be the 16 cities. I think that's how they would break down like pay structure for gym trainers as well as Pokemon trainers, Elite Four, Champion, all that kind of stuff. And then if Pokemon were real, I mean, or if we do discover a way to make Pokemon real in some kind of capacity, like obviously, we would use them for infrastructure and all this other kind of stuff, which would be dope. But I mean, the battling would obviously be the best part because who doesn't want to battle Pokemon? Like I feel like there would just be no point in having Pokemon if you weren't gonna battle them, right? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if I'm spot on, if I'm incorrect, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.